Session 1 Business Model Canvas BMC. First, we need to understand what is business model. The business model is the mechanism through which the company generates its profit. Business model tells us how the key drivers of business fit together. A business model describes the rationale of how an organization creates, delivers, and captures values. A plan for successful operation of business, identifying sources of revenue, the target customer base, products, and details of financing. A business model is simply a plan describing how a business intends to make money. It explains who your customer base is and how you deliver value to them, and the related details of financing. Let's take a simple business model example. You create or prepare food items and deliver your products or services to the customers and capture or get revenue from the customer for your products or services in return. It's a pretty simple business model example of restaurant where you create or prepare food items and you share your products or services with customers. You deliver that to your customers, and in return, you get revenue from your customers. Business Model Canvas. Business Model Canvas is a simple visual tool to create and analyze business models. Dr. Alexander Osterwalder from Switzerland first introduced 9 building blocks, 9 business elements of BMC in his PhD thesis, The Business Model Ontology, in 2005. Since the release of Dr. Osterwalder's work around 2008, many new canvases for specific niche have appeared. The business model canvas is a strategic management tool that lets you visualize and assess your business idea or concept. It's a one-page document containing 9 boxes that represent different fundamental elements of a business. The business model canvas beats the traditional business plan that spans across several pages by offering a much easier way to understand the different core elements of a business. Why use BMC? Easy to understand? Because the canvas on just a single page and is very visual. It's very easy to understand. Focused. It removes any errors that might have been present in a traditional business model. Flexible. It's quick and easy to make changes to your model and sketch out different ideas. Just remove post-its and add new ones. Customer focused. The canvas forces you to think about the value you are providing to your customers and only then what it takes to deliver that value. Shows connections. The single page graphical nature of the canvas shows how the different parts of the model interrelate to each other. This can be really difficult to establish from a traditional business plan. Easy to communicate. Because the canvas is so easy to understand, you will be able to share and explain it easily with your team or investors, making it easier to get them on board with your vision. Applications of the business model canvas. Strategizing. Organizations use it to create a blueprint of their strategy. When used as a strategic plan, users apply the BMC to describe what they have done the past year and what they intend to do in the year ahead. Dashboard. We have seen a couple of teams and companies start using the BMC as a dashboard. They define a set of indicators for each building block of their business model canvas that they want to follow with performance thresholds. Understanding competition. Another interesting way to use the BMC is to understand competition. By sketching out the business model of each one of your competitors, you gain a better understanding of their strengths, limits, constraints, and what they can or can't do. Portfolio of business models. A particularly interesting area for application of the BMC is the idea of developing a portfolio of business models, ranging from improving existing business models all the way to inventing new business models. Innovation. Design, test, and build new growth engines. Here, the BMC is used to prototype alternative business models and test them with the lean startup customer development process. We call this the search for the right business model and value proposition. New idea template. A lot of organizations use the BMC as a template to develop or submit new ideas. The interesting thing here is that then the ideas became comparable. Understanding customers. An incredibly interesting and innovative use of the BMC is that of companies that use the canvas to sketch out the business models of their customers. Organizational alignment. While we always saw the BMC as an alignment tool, it was a surprise that leadership teams would use the BMC as an onboarding tool for CEOs or senior executives. Strategy diffusion and co creation. A very powerful way to use the BMC is in the context of strategic alignment across the organization. Shared language across functions. The canvas is particularly helpful when applied across functions. People from marketing, technology, engineering, operations, finance, and so on can all work together around a BMC and have a shared language to discuss their ideas. Aligning value side, that is revenue, and infrastructure side, that is cost. The BMC makes it possible for everybody to have a shared understanding of what we are trying to achieve as an organization. Investing. Some organizations are using the BMC to make better investment decisions. Once you have sketched out a business model or models and you understand the underlying business opportunity, you have a better understanding of where you should allocate resources. Mergers and acquisitions. One application that we really didn't expect would come up is the application of using the BMC in context of mergers and acquisitions. The idea here is that you would sketch out the business models of two organizations and figure out if there is a good fit. If you do this for a couple of organizations within a specific industry, you will better understand where there are potential synergies and opportunities for integration, and where more differentiating factors will cause you to run into challenges. Exit strategies. The last application we will provide here is using the canvas in the context of exit strategies. 9 building blocks. Customer segments. Which customers and users are you serving? Which jobs do they really want to get done? Value proposition. What are you offering them? What is that getting done for them? Do they care? Channels. How does each customer segment want to be reached? Through which interaction points? Customer relationships. What relationships are you establishing with each segment? Personal, automated, acquisitive, retentive, revenue streams. What are customers really willing to pay for? How are you generating transactional or recurring revenues? Key resources. Which key resources underpin your business model? Which assets are essential? Key activities. Which activities do you need to perform well in your business model? What is crucial? Key partnerships. Key partners. Which partners and suppliers leverage your model? Who do you need to rely on? Cost structure. What is the resulting cost structure? Which key elements drive your costs? When filling out a business model canvas, you will brainstorm and conduct research on each of these elements. You have to answer the above questions for each block. The data you collect can be placed in each relevant section of the canvas. Now we will go in depth for each block or each business element. First, customer segments. Who are your customers? These are the groups of people or companies that you are trying to target and sell your product or service to. For instance, HR directors. They are an identifiable group of people that use the label HR directors to identify themselves and their role. You can find HR directors on LinkedIn, for instance, as individuals and through LinkedIn groups. Segmenting Segmenting your customers based on similarities such as geographical area, gender, age, behavior, interest, etc., gives you the opportunity to better serve their needs specifically by customizing the solution you are providing them. There are different customer segments: mass market. It focuses on the general population or large group of people with similar needs. For example, a product like phone. Niche market. Here, the focus is centered on a specific group of people with unique needs and traits. Here, the value propositions, distribution channels, customer relationships should be customized to meet their specific requirements. An example would be buyers of sports shoe. Segmented. Based on slightly different needs, there could be different groups within the main customer segment. Accordingly, you can create different value propositions, distribution channels, etc. to meet the different needs of these segments. Diversified. A diversified market segment includes customers with very different needs. The last one, multi-sided markets. This includes interdependent it sorry, this includes interdependent customer segments. For example, a credit card company caters to both their credit card holders as well as merchants who accept those cards. You should, as a result of completing this section, be able to clearly define your segment and have a number of personas for the different subsegments that describe the profile of your customer, their behaviors, their problems, and current workarounds or alternatives. Value propositions. A value proposition clearly aims at defining how it solves a problem and presents a new way of doing it compared to existing solutions. We have to be able to communicate with some level of specificity why we are different and why we are worth buying. Because in any market, regardless of how good it is, consumers have choices and there is always competition. You should now have a clear link between value propositions and your personas, that is, customer segments. The value proposition should clearly tie in with the customer and why they will buy. Common value propositions are newness, high performance, ability to customize, design, brand status, price, cost reduction, and convenience. Channels. This block is to describe how your company will communicate with and reach out to your customers. Channels are the touch points that let your customers connect with your company. Channels play a role in raising awareness of your product or service among customers and delivering your value propositions to them. Channels can also be used to allow customers the avenue to buy products or services and offer post purchase support. Will you use your own channels or partners' own channels? Company websites, social media sites, in-house sales, etc. And partner channels, partner-owned websites, wholesale distribution, retail, etc. Customer relationships. This answers how you get, keep, and grow your customers. Use storyboard and customer journey maps to map the current customer journey. Then map how your value proposition will be delivered and make a note of the critical points in the journey and the overall life cycle. Customer journey maps will help you identify the different stages your customers go through when interacting with your company. And it will help you make sense of how to acquire, retain, and grow your customers. There are several types of customer relationships. First, personal assistance. You interact with the customers in person or by email, through phone or through phone call or other means. Second, dedicated personal assistance. You assign a dedicated customer representative to an individual customer. Third, Self-service. Here you maintain no relationship with the customer, but provides what the customer needs to help themselves. Fourth, automated services. This includes automated processes or machinery that helps customers perform services themselves. Fifth, communities. These include online communities where customers can help each other solve their own problems with regard to the product or service. Sixth, co-creation. Here, the company allows the customer to get involved in the designing or development of the product. For example, YouTube has given its users the opportunity to create content for its audience. Revenue streams. What strategy will you use to capture the most value from your customers? Revenue streams are the sources from which a company generates money by selling their product or service to the customers. And in this block, you should describe how you will earn revenue from your value propositions. A revenue stream can belong to one of the following revenue models. First, transaction based revenue, made from customers who make a one time payment. Recurring revenue, made from ongoing payments for continuing services or post sale services. For example, subscription of Netflix. A list of revenue streams linked mutually to personas or segments if their mapping are the same within a set of personas and value propositions. In earlier 5 slides, we saw the right side of the canvas. The canvas is made up of a front stage and a back stage, that is right side and left side. On the front stage, that is right side, the canvas very clearly outlines how you are creating value for customers and how that allows you to generate revenues. On the backstage, that is left side, the canvas describes what resources, activities, and partners you need to create this value and how that generates costs. Broadly speaking, we can say that those elements on the left hand side of the canvas represent cost to the business, that is efficiency, whereas elements on the right hand side generate revenue for the business, that is value. Key resources. Describe your most important strategic assets. This is where you list down which key resources or the main inputs you need to carry out your key activities in order to create your value proposition. There are several types of key resources and they are physical, equipment, inventory, buildings, intellectual, brand, patents, IP, copyright, human, employees, financial, cash, lines of credit, etc. Key activities. What are the activities, tasks that need to be completed to fulfill your business purpose? In this section, you should list down all the key activities you need to do to make your business model work. These key activities should focus on fulfilling its value proposition, reaching customer segments, and maintaining customer relationship, and generating revenue. There are three categories of key activities: production, designing, manufacturing, and delivering a product in significant quantities and or of superior quality. Problem solving, finding new solution to individual problems faced by customers. Platform or network, creating and maintaining platforms. For example, Microsoft provides a reliable operating system to support third-party software products. Key partners. Key partners are the external companies or suppliers that will help you carry out your key activities. These partnerships are forged in order to reduce risks and acquire resources. Types of partnerships are strategic alliance, partnerships between non-competitors, co-optation, strategic partnership between competitors, joint ventures, partners developing a new business, buyer-supplier relationship, ensure reliable supplies. Cost structure. In this block, you identify all the costs associated with operating your business model. You will need to focus on evaluating the cost of creating and delivering your value propositions, creating revenue streams, and maintaining customer relationships. And this will be easier to do so once you have defined your key resources, activities, and partners. Businesses can either be cost driven, focuses on minimizing cost whenever possible, and value driven, focuses on providing maximum value to the customer. Thus, we have discussed the 9 blocks business elements of BMC. Now, let's look at the Google business model example to understand BMC. The first thing you should know about Google's business model is that it is multi-sided. This means that it brings together two distinct but related customers. In Google's case, its customers are its search users and its advertisers. The platform is only of interest to the advertisers because search users are also present. Conversely, search users you would not be able to use the platform free of charge were it not for advertisers. As you can see, the diagram gives you an immediate understanding of the key parts of Google's business model. We can see that Google makes money from the advertiser customer segment, whose ads appear either in search results or on the web pages. This money subsidizes a free offering to the other two customer segments, search users and content owners. Google's business model has a network element to it. That is, the more ads it displays to web searchers, the more advertisers it attracts. And more advertisers it attracts, the more content owners it attracts. Google's key resources is its search platform, including google.com, AdSense for content owners, and AdWords for advertisers. The key strategic activities that Google must perform are managing the existing platform, including its infrastructure. Google's key partners are obviously The content owners from whom a large part of its revenue is generated. OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, also form a key partner. OEMs are companies who produce mobile handsets to whom Google provides its Android operating system to for free. In return, when users of these handsets search the internet, they use the Google search engine by default, thus bring more users into the ecosystem and generating even more revenue for Google. This is how Google business model works. Presenting the business model canvas don'ts. Avoid what we call cognitive murder when we throw the entire canvas up on the screen all at once. So while presenting to your investor, don't show the entire canvas at a time. We want to avoid putting too much detail and granularity into our canvas all at one or putting too much detail and granularity into the canvas. We want to avoid putting too many ideas into the same canvas. We want to avoid creating orphan elements, which are elements of the business model that are not connected to others. Let's see the Google model example. Here, advertiser is our customer segment. Display ad revenue is revenue streams, and display ads is value propositions. So all are connected to each other. But if advertiser is missing from your customer segment, then it will create a problem for Google's business model. So it's an error in your business canvas model. Avoid putting the future state and the current state of your business model into the same canvas without somehow distinguishing between them. And we want to avoid that tendency to engage in irrelevant blah 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 and instead to deliver a killer presentation. Woe a story around your business model canvas. We want to layer on the post-it notes into our canvas one at a time as we are telling our story. Then lastly, we want to make sure that we are creating a good plot structure and creating some suspense that will take our audience from one idea to the next in our story. Good story would engage your audience and they may invest in your business. As you all will be working on business plans, let's talk about it. What is a business plan? A business plan is a document that acts as a blueprint for how the business plans to operate and achieve profitability. First and foremost, your business plan should convince you that your idea makes sense because your time, your money, and your effort are on the line. It should flesh out strategic plans, develop marketing and sales plans, create the foundation for smooth operations, and maybe, just maybe, persuade your investor to jump on board. Business models and business plans. The business model canvas allows you to see the relationships among the parts of your model. Identify hypotheses, assumptions, and risks. Plan validation testing, market, channels, pricing. Find ways to add value or reduce cost. Brainstorm market disruption strategies. In a nutshell, you will be aware of financial data, environmental or competitive analysis, implementation roadmap, SWOT and risk analysis, which would help you to prepare the proper detailed business plan. A typical business plan consists of executive summary and management team, the business model, overview and objectives, products and services, sales and marketing, operations, key resources and activities, financial analysis, break-even analysis, sales scenarios and projections, capital spending, operating cost, funding requirements, external environment, the economy, market analysis and key trends, competitor analysis, competitive advantages of our business model, implementation roadmap, projects, milestones, roadmap, risk analysis, limiting factors and obstacles, critical success factors, specific risks and obstacles. Conclusion. If you want to attract investors and grow your business through external resources, a detailed plan is must. This allows investors to understand the several parts of your business. To summarize, the business model canvas provides a way to show the key elements of any business model on a single sheet of paper. The canvas is based on 9 building blocks and the interrelationships between them. You can use the canvas regardless of whether you are trying to understand a startup with 2 employees or a Fortune 500 company with over 50,000 employees. It would help you generate your business plan. If you search online, there are various tools, online softwares, templates, etc. to prepare your business plan. Thank you.